Merhaba arkadaşlar, Hifitalks'ın 6. bölümüne hoş geldiniz. Bugün alışık olduğunuz Serkay'la bu serileri yapıyorduk ama bugünlük bir farklılık oldu ve bu seride ben eşlik edeceğim sizlere. Kendimi kısaca tanıtayım. Ahmet ben, KEF'in Türkiye'deki ürün müdürlüğünü yapıyorum. Ve tahmin edeceğiniz gibi de bugünkü konuğum KEF tarafından Julian. Julian kendisi iş geliştirme müdürü KEF tarafında. Bugün belirlediğimiz soruları onunla sorma fırsatımız olacak. Daha sonrasında da bu videonun altına da küçük bir hediye durumumuz olacak. Bir çekiliş yapmayı planlıyoruz. Detayları da mailin altında ve hem yazışmalarda açıklayacağız. İsterseniz yavaşça Julian'ı tanımayla başlayalım. Hi Julian, how are you?
Hi Ahmed, how are you? Very
Fine,
good.
and
I'm
you?
good. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Just like I explained a little bit Turkish to our audience.
Yeah.
So let's start with introduce yourself. So then we can keep going to questions.
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you for having me in
Yeah.
this session. And hello to you, high five, and obviously everyone that will watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit about myself. My name is Julian Jepsen. I am the European distribution markets sales manager and business developer.
Yeah.
I've been with the company, I would say 14, 15 years. So it's been quite some time.
Long time, yeah.
Yeah. And plans to stay another quite some time after today, obviously. Yeah, and first of all, I started with KEF in the Americas, where I managed the Latin America market for the company, and then some 4 or 5 years ago, I started to manage the European distribution markets, which includes Turkey.
Yeah,
of course.
yeah, we are working together.
Yes.
And it's cool. Yeah. So we can pass to our questions. First of all, I will just like ask you to explain a little bit of summarize the KEF brand. You know, like a little bit the history, his vision, goals, technology, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to say about it, and I will try to keep it very comprised in just a few minutes. But you know, because KEF is one of the leading loudspeaker manufacturers in this world, and just to say, not just any loudspeakers, but premium luxury loudspeakers, right? We have KEF was founded in the UK. It's a British brand in 1961 by a known engineer, electric sound engineer, Raymond Cook, who unfortunately is no longer among us, who passed away in the late 90s. But nevertheless, so as you see, if it was founded in 1961, it has a long history since the first day. We've been in the, let's say, avant-garde of speaker manufacturing through innovation in sound. We could say, dozens, if not hundreds, of patents, because the whole hi-fi world is quite wide, and it's not just a speaker. You plug in, some cables, some speaker cables, and sound comes, and it's all great. It's quite scientific. So KEF is a premium loudspeaker manufacturer. It operates globally. We have direct offices in about 10 countries worldwide, and distributors partners like yourself in many other countries. So we are truly global. We are also 100% a vertically integrated brand and company. So that means that we have a strong R&D department in order to maintain and continue to lead our innovation on a technological side, of course, as well as a design department. We have our own manufacturing facilities. So it's basically everything is done in-house, and that's quite a differentiating factor, because many other brands out there, without naming any, you have possibly the marketing and some of the designs and products up front. However, they use OEM manufacturers, for example, right?
Yeah.
So in that difference, we have full control from the inception of our idea until we bring out the final product. And that gives us a great advantage, and also gives us a great possibility of quality control.
Yeah.
From finish to start. So we are still very British. We have in the UK, still our original, where KEF was founded, offices and factory. In that factory, the most, let's say, prestigious, luxurious products are still handmade, handcrafted, and that we are very proud of. And everything that is developed from this very high-end and high-quality products gets then applied to the more affordable products down the line.
Yeah.
And of course, we have a part that is then manufactured, handcrafted in the UK, and the rest for obviously world competition is manufactured in our Asia factory.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, there's so much to comprise into in just
Yes.
2 minutes, but yeah, I mean, we always put first technology. The sound, the quality of sound is our primary goal. However, the speakers are obviously the medium to deliver the sound, but we also put a lot of value into the design, right? So we are quite design oriented. However, we never put in front the design before the sound. So whatever design we implement into a product, it's to complement the sound, not to diminish it in any way.
Yes, I just I know very well the KEF brand, and I'm just working about the product manager. So it's for me it's really good things about the innovation and the technology behind the KEF brand. As you said, you have R&D department, and I know your technology. And I would just ask something about these technologies, the most popular technologies. For example, UniQ technology and also meta observation technology is also very well known in the market. So maybe you could explain a little bit what is the UniQ technology or what is the meta technology behind these products?
Sure. I mean, as I said, from the very beginning, since the creation foundation of KEF, in the forefront was always innovation, research and development with innovation. And since the very beginning, we KEF, for example, was the first loudspeaker manufacturer to use computer aid for their loudspeaker designs.
Yeah.
We then, one of the most distinctive technologies, as you mentioned, is UniQ. And UniQ is a technology that was discovered or developed in the 80s. And still today, we are in the 12th generation of it, right?
12, yes.
So we obviously, that means that every so often we keep improving that technology that was developed 20-something years ago, right? And the main distinctive feature of this UniQ, of the technology, is that basically it allows us to cover a much wider listening range instead of having the usual sweet spot in the middle. And so that everyone in the room can mostly equally enjoy the sound output of the loudspeakers, of KEF loudspeakers. Then you mentioned meta material. Well, this has been an incredible breakthrough just recently, last year, basically, as it was introduced in October of 2020. What it is, it's an advancement of the UniQ driver itself by the use of metamaterial, which is an innovative patent-pending material that is placed in the rear of the driver, the UniQ driver, which is able to absorb 99% of the unwanted sound distortion.
99, yeah.
99%. We're very close to 100.
Yeah, very close.
And to deliver us, therefore, it allows us to deliver a much purer, more natural sound, even more than it was already, right? So KEF is really the first audio brand to employ metamaterial in loudspeakers. And it is a joint development between KEF and Acoustic Metamaterial Group.
Very cool. So we had the opportunity to test the metamaterial with LS series, right now, we have LS50 meta. So when we compare the old version, there's really a little bit, it's quite difference between them. So the metamaterial also, we understand that the sound is coming more naturally. So the people also from our market, they can also understand between the metamaterial and not. So it's also very where's the most popular technology behind the KEF brand. And also right now, it's not like a technology, but I saw the LSL Wireless 2 also right now run ready. So it's really new news for the KEF brand also. It was
Yeah.
like tested, but right now I think like ready. So also there were some people to ask us like when we'll be ready, and also we published our post in our Instagram page about the right now like they are ready. Also you give in your website like a 60-day trial, no, the free trial.
That's correct. It is
So
in
yeah,
conjunction with Rune, with the
yes,
Rune company, or Rune Lab. So yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, I mean, we are well known worldwide and a leading brand in hi-fi premium luxury loudspeakers, and you can find basically anything and everything for your home, for your residence, from a very high-end Muon that was developed about 10 years ago and co-designed with Ross Loughborough, a very industrial designer, and with our engineered team, which is limited to 100 pair. It's pure aluminum, 2 meters, I think 115 kilos each. The cabinet proceeds from originally a solid state aluminum plate, which gets formed in where they make the chassis for Aston Martin and Bentley in London. I said 100 pair, 200,000 euro. However, but then we have things that you can have. You can buy a headphone, for example, an in-ear headphone, which we also just recently launched, the MU3, for 229 euro a pair. And then we have everything in between for all kinds of budgets and applications. We have architectural speakers. We have obviously much more affordable traditional loudspeakers. And then some years ago, we entered, and we can proudly say we believe we are leader in the market. We entered the active loudspeaker business or segment, of which you just mentioned LS50 Wireless 2. So we just launched some months ago the second version of the very first active loudspeaker that we brought, which was very successful. Then we brought a smaller brother. You see, LS50 Wireless is a monitor at a 2,500 price point, and then we brought a smaller version, iteration, equally interesting, attractive, and impressive sound for the size, which is called LSX.
LSX, yes, it's really popular in Turkey.
Yeah. And this is basically our reaction and action cover to satisfy the growing trend of plug and play, but at a hi-fi level, and everything streaming. So we brought together these worlds by having an excellent passive loudspeaker, integrating all electronics inside to maximize its performance, and coupled with a super wide and very efficiently functioning app in order for the user to simply pull out their phone and open the app and select a song or content from anything and everything. I mean, sources that we have is Wi-Fi, obviously, network ready. It has Bluetooth. It has optical cable, so that means computers, TVs, etc. where you can play the sound through. We also offer HDMI, and coax as well, for any RCA input. And then you can stream Amazon Music, Deezer, Qobuz, Spotify, Tidal. In addition, we have Spotify Connect support and Qobuz Connect. Tidal Connect. My bad. Radios, stations. I mean, you name it. If you don't find anything to play back through our app or in our active speakers, then sorry, but I think we covered 99% as well.
99%. Yes, I know. Like the active speakers also and we are really happy about to have them in our stores, and like we present our customers, so they are also happy about these products when we get the feedback from the market. And I also sometimes get a little bit some feedbacks coming from really positively. So I hope we also enhance this range and to make some possible way to present our customers. Okay, so you also mentioned, but I just want to ask you, could you inform us about your new product if you have and I saw as you said Mu3, and also there's coming some subwoofers like KC62. How about these products
I mean, as we recently, we are again at the forefront of innovation and technologies. We have again dozens or even hundreds of patents. This is why we also have a leadership position at the global level. We enter the active segment with the LS50 Wireless Mark 1, right? Some 2-3 years ago. Then we followed with the LSX, also just some 2 years ago. We just brought out in October, some 5-6 months ago, the LS50 Wireless 2, with even more improvement to the first version. We brought the LS50 Meta, which is the passive version of LS50. And by the name, you know that the driver has the technology of metamaterial, and so does the LS50 Wireless 2, right? It was just the name would get too long. Not Meta, but it also has Meta technology.
LSL Wireless 2 Meta, yes. Also, we put this information into our website so the people know that there's also the metamaterial, the LSL Wireless 2.
Exactly. So, and then we brought another breakthrough product and technology to the market just recently. And so metamaterial applies very much to mid-range and high-frequency drivers. But then we brought the KC62, a subwoofer. We could say the smallest but loudest subwoofer in the world right now.
In the world, yes.
Yeah, it's just slightly bigger than a football.
Football,
with a very, and as you see, very design conscious.
It's also really good design.
Beautiful aluminum cabinet with curved edges, everything nicely integrated. You don't see the screws, you don't see anything of, let's say, unfinished industrial designs exposed, rather nice, everything integrated nicely. The size is really compact, as I said, just a little bigger than a football ball. And then this comes in 2 colors, as you show, the white, but also black.
Yes.
And it has it is a dual. The distinctive technology here, the breakthrough technology, is unicore.
Yes, unicore.
So what is so special about it? So basically, with this new unicore technology, we maximize base and we minimize space, right? So it's an innovative patent-pending technology that redefines size versus performance for speakers and subwoofers. Unicore revolutionizes the traditional force-canceling design to deliver deep, accurate bass from an ultra-compact cabinet. So combining both drivers into a single magnet motor system, allows cabinet size to be reduced by over a third. So basically, you get incredible bass out of a very small object, out of a very small cabinet. So we have 2 500-watt amps because you have dual drivers, right? As I said, it's a one motor system with the 2 drivers. And each one has 500 watt of power, which is a total of 1,000 watt. So it's quite impressive. It integrates incredibly into loudspeaker sound, the balance for a 2.1 solution, but also very much so for any cinema solution.
So it deserves like its name, not the biggest small subwoofer. So in the world, also we have like a very good experience about these products. It's cool. Okay, good. And some words about the Mu3. So also I heard about like a little bit headphone stage. So maybe you can explain a little bit about what's the Mu3.
Mu3 is our latest product that we launched. It's the latest product we launched just recently, some 2-3 months ago. It's an in-ear noise canceling true wireless headphone. Again, here we also, I don't know if you may be able to pull up as before a nice image. We commissioned here. We brought in also Ross Lovegrove,
designer,
to help us, to co-design this beautiful in-ear true wireless headphones. And I mean, we are focused generally in our loudspeakers, but we believe that it was important to also offer a headphone solution for all of those KEF fans out there, or the ones that would like to first get in touch with KEF. and to have a solution to KEF on the go, right?
Okay.
When you're on the go. They're beautiful design. They have long battery life. They have the fast charging feature. They have two noise canceling modes, ambient. They're super easy to set up. You pull them out, you set them up with your phone to pair them, whether Android or iOS. It's a fantastic little headphone.
Yes.
And also the most important thing is it sounds like KEF. Yeah.
It's the most important things, no?
Yeah. We keep our consistency throughout our products, and you will see also, and that's the beautiful thing about KEF, and that's why KEF is a whole home solution. You can have your high-end dedicated 2-channel solution in one room, but then you want to have, let's say, multi-zone sound as well, right? In the kitchen, in the hallway, in the study,
Garden,
in the bathroom, right? So all of our products, not all, but the large percentage of our products feature UniQ.
Yeah.
With that, you have that same tonality, and so not only you can have throughout your house a nice consistent timbre, but also when you do a system, you can have the higher end 2 channels, front, left, and right. But then you can complement it with in wall or in ceiling or other models for your center, for your surrounds, for your Atmos, anything. And that's the beautiful thing about KEF. You can mix and match as you wish, as your budget allows it, and as your, also your home. It's not every product in the same space.
Yes, you are right. Like also, as you said, like we offered the all portfolio for according to each like income level. We have like a Q series, the R series, the reference series, so the people can choose what they like exactly match with them. So it's good things for the KEF supply or KEF like let our customers like to choose the best product or the best loudspeaker to match with them, like how they can hear them, like which the economic level also is really good things also.
Yeah, cool. I mean, it's not also on the budget level, it's also maybe expectation level. Maybe you have the financial resources, but look, you're not so into the sound and you don't need the best product that is available. But you say, well, for this money, this will suffice, and this gives you already incredible sound improvement from any mass market, generic product out there. It really is. The beautiful thing is you can start with a few $100s and go to hundreds of thousands of dollars. There is really no limit to hi-fi.
Yes, there's no limit. Yeah, you're right. So also about the custom installation, also home theater solutions. Also KEF have like a really good product range in the inselling, also involving. So do you want to say about the architectural custom installation series of the product KEF?
Yes, I mean, as mentioned, I mean, in the standalone loudspeakers, traditional loudspeakers, we have good, better, best, right? And then very good at the very top. But even our good is already, for many who have not had a hi-fi product, a true hi-fi loudspeaker before, is already like day and night difference from a TV sound or from a little, compact system that you buy for a little money. The sound difference is just, day and night. And with the CI, it's the same. So in standalone loudspeakers, you have Q. It starts with Q series as our entry level, which is already really good. Then you go to R series. Then you go to reference series. You can have the blades. You can have the muons. And the similar is with CI. You can complement this with equivalent CI products. We have all, basically all sizes, all shapes. We have round, we have square, we have rectangle. Because you have to think also, the word is architectural. Round, if you have, for example, round lighting fixtures or solutions. If you have rectangle lighting fixtures, you maybe want also square speakers flushed into the ceiling, and so forth. And there, again, we have all kinds of sizes. We start with a really small CI50 spotlight. Just like the regular spotlights, which you don't know what is light, what is when the lights are off, you're not sure what's the sound and what's the lights, right? And that's what you want. You want full integration into your environment. And then you have the 100 size, 100 millimeters, 10 centimeters diameter. You go to then 130 millimeters, 160, 200.
200,
Also,
mounting depth from the surface. Also, you have like several options from like 3 millimeters and something like that, or to up to the 9 centimeters like that.
Yeah, we have also a really nice, when we developed the T Series years ago, which is our really flat, low profile, hi-fi loudspeakers that is also thought to blend visually and design wise really nicely with flat TVs. When you mount them on the wall, you can nicely flank them left, right, and beneath, a center or above. From that technology, we had to develop a drive because each driver has a minimum depth, right? The chassis, the magnet, it all requires a certain mounting depth. But then our engineers were able to optimize the materials and the use of materials in the space, and take this, let's say, what was it, 8 centimeters, 8 millimeter driver, 80 millimeter driver, into just, I think, 4.5 millimeters depth. So
for the T
we
Series,
are able to take that technology and also apply it to our CI or architectural model. And now, older buildings, they sometimes don't have space. They don't have a suspended ceiling. So you have to dig in, or you have to find. There's very little space, and for that we have the TR product of it, which is super thin. I mean, it's less deep than a credit card. So that is to give you an idea how really shallow it is. And it's a great solution for when space is an issue in ceilings or in walls. And the other distinctive, and another one where we really stand out is on our extreme home theater products that are THX certified. THX is not a codec like Dolby or what's the other one? It's not like Dolby. But it's a certification to meet certain criteria, sound criteria, and very few companies have this THX certification, but we do. And for that, all our let's say larger extreme home theater, CI extreme home theater models are THX certified.
THX 35, yeah, it's good.
For cinema applications.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much for your explanations. So I'll just ask something from the current situation about the COVID-19, So I just want to ask you, how has the COVID-19 affected the speaker sector in the world from your perspective?
Yeah, obviously we are no exception to the impacts of COVID-19 and the pandemic. From the very beginning, where we, in a certain way, we all panicked. We don't know what is this? What's going to happen? Is it the end of the world? Is it the end of our business? There was a lot of uncertainty, and obviously we prepared really well for this as it happened. Obviously we couldn't foresee it, but once it was out and clear that this was happening, we did the best we could to adapt to that situation. But one thing is clear, and we are affected, and so the whole industry, but also across industries, is some of the further and still ongoing impacts, which is very much in the supply of certain key components. And in this case, we would say it's like in many other industries, the chips is one of the most one of the very important components in some of our products, and there is a worldwide shortage of them. However, we have a fantastic team in production and in logistics who have been able to maneuver and mitigate the impact as much as possible. Surely it has caused some delays in our product deliveries, but we can proudly say that the delays have been weeks or just few months, 2-3 months, where we know that in the industry right now there are 4-6 months waiting time or more for certain products. So when you think about that, we have fared quite pretty well in this situation. But it is an ongoing issue. No one is an exception to this, but even more so as well is the ongoing logistics issue worldwide. The impact of now increased demands in many areas, but limited equipment, limited vessels. I mean, it is still an ongoing issue, and that goes across industries.
Yes. Also, I sincerely said that, like with the KEF brands, we have solved this issue in the short term. Like right now, like we have like good logistic times, all about the supply of the products. Also, KEF is a really good brand among the others. So we had like a little bit problem with other brands, but in the KEF brand, like we are not right now like able to demand the products, and also you can supply all of them. Also, thank you for your support or all the business development behind these logistics.
Sure, no, our pleasure. And also that the company has gone into great length or effort to mitigate the delays by supporting air shipments, even the very because aside of the obviously limitations in or challenges in logistics, the prices also has gone up quite significantly. The cost of containers and generally logistics costs. But even with that going up, we've tried to satisfy consumer needs and demand and desire first before our own interests. And we've done so that as soon as it was possible, as the product then finally was produced and ready for shipment, we went even into spending important amounts of for air shipments support to bring that product faster to the consumer.
That's very cool.
So we do our best, and we continue to do our best going forward. And but I think we have exciting things to look forward to, and we hope that this pandemic will soon resolve and
we
be
hope
part of
also.
the past.
I hope like this summer we will be able to return to our normal life.
That would be great. A little bit,
that would be great. So thank you very much. My last question about our customers generally. So I just want to ask you, like, what do you recommend the people who hesitate to buy KEF products? So why should people prefer the KEF brand instead of the others? Because of like there's other brands also in the market. So what's the core value or what you recommend to our customers?
I mean,
it's why, really hard questions also.
I mean, again, I mean, I think I can recommend KEF generally because, first of all, in one place you have many options, many possible solutions, whether it's again based on budget or on application. But know that in all of our products, we obviously have a high quality control, and we do our best to implement the excellence in performance, excellence in materials, excellence in finishes. And you can be sure, if you're not sure about KEF or another brand, I mean, we have now soon 60 years of history behind us, and hundreds of awards, hundreds of technology patents. This must mean something. So it's not just me, obviously, KEF person telling buy KEF, it's fantastic, it's the best in the world. But the many reviews, the many awards, the technologies, the existing owners will tell you. I mean, we have still, if you follow our KEF page on Facebook, on Instagram, you will see so many consumers sharing that they have a reference 104 or 105. These are products that are 20 years old. There is a long heritage. There's a long history of quality products, and we have a large fan base. So you can purchase a KEF products with confidence that it will satisfy or impress you on how good your music will sound again.
Okay, cool. So also here, like we help them about they can try all the KEF models in our stores, so they are able to test the products. So before they decide, also we really deliver good customer service to them. Like it's like a thanks to you, and so also I recommend to them.
Absolutely, sure. I mean, I invite everyone that sees this, that listens to this, to go and check out Hi-Fi Live or any other official reseller in Turkey. And we ensure that they usually have a good number of products on display for you for the consumer to test, to listen, to compare, and then hopefully go home happily with
hope
with a product that fitted best the budget and the need.
Also, after pandemic, also we can invite you to Turkey to maybe we can make a section with our customers about the KEF brands and also KEF products. Maybe we will able to test them with your experience. So you can also show some tricks to us.
Sure.
How can you listen? So it's cool. Oh, thank you very much. I will just I'm happy to make this conversation with you. I hope maybe we can record the second one with the specific topics. So I will let you know about in the future Hi-Fi talks. But I'm really happy. So if you want to add something, and
I just want to thank you for having me again. And for this opportunity. I look forward to the next session.
Okay. Cool.
Stay safe and stay well. And hopefully those vaccines come early enough and in plenty, so that we can all be a bit more free.
Okay.
In the meantime, think of KEF and improve your home entertainment with great sound.
It's cool to finish our conversation. Is cool. Okay. Thank you very
so
much again. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Take care now.
Tekrardan merhaba arkadaşlar. Umarım beğenmişsinizdir bu forecast'imizi. Hi-Fi Talks'un 6.sını KEF markasıyla beraber çektik. Julian sağ olsun yardımcı oldu bizlere. Soruları cevapladı güzel bir şekilde. Bu video özel tabii ki de bir hediyemiz olacak, bir çekilişimiz olacak. KEF'in daha önce çıkardığı Bluetooth speakerlardan Mo için bir çekiliş yapmayı planlıyoruz. Detayları da zaten açıklama kısmında ekleyeceğiz. Tekrardan teşekkür ederiz. İkincisinin gelmesini biz de sabırsızlıkla bekliyoruz. Biraz çalıştıktan sonra eminim KEF'li ikinci bir section'da gelecektir. Julian'ın dediği gibi dikkatli kalın, güvende kalın. Hepinize görüşmek üzere.